USA, UK, France, Russia, China.
Yeah, we have USA.
UK.
Very good. US. Okay, USA, UK, France, Russia, China. These are the P5. We call that P5 permanent five. Okay, these are the countries which has got veto power, and they are the permanent member of UNSC. They are permanent member of UNSC. Permanent member of UNSC. Okay. So I told you, Prime Minister has said that if the UN has to be relevant, if the people have to have faith in the UN, then UN should reform itself. Okay, so that is the Prime Minister has said. Okay, now based upon this editorial, the new world order. Okay. The permanent member of the UNSC must support the reform process of the UN. Okay. A special session marking 75th years of UN nations on Tuesday. Okay. Prime Minister Narendra Modi called for its outdated structure, okay, saying that we need a reform in the outdated structure. Who is saying? Our Prime Minister is saying. Okay. I also already told you in several classes that India's biggest foreign policy aspiration is to become a member of UNSC as a permanent member. Okay. So now the Prime Minister is saying that the 75th year we are celebrating, fine, well and good, but we have an outdated structure. Okay. We have an outdated structure. We need a reform. Okay. This is said by our Prime Minister. Pointing out in the absence of comprehensive changes, the world body today faces crisis of confidence. This is the same word used by Prime Minister. Okay. Today, write down. Today there is a what is it? Irrelevance of multilateralism. Irrelevance of multilateralism. Today's world, people do not believe in the organizations. For example, World Health Organization totally failed in the COVID-19. Likewise, WTO is also has completely failed in the controlling or managing the trade. Okay. So today there is a lot of facts which can say that multilateralism is a failure. Okay. Now UN also coming to that category, then the world will be going for another war also possible. Okay. So there is a irrelevance of multilateralism. Irrelevance of multilateralism. Irrelevance of multilateralism. Okay. And if there is should be a conference on the UN, then it should go for a reform. Who is saying this? Prime Minister is saying this. While the words appear harsh given the occasion, they are hardly be faulted. Okay, they are saying that it is a little harsh word. Okay, but still that is not wrong. India has been at forefront of demanding reform in the UN, particularly its principal organ, Security Council. Okay, the Security Council is nothing but UNSC. Okay, India is demanding for reform in the UN. India is demanding for reform in the UN, particularly UNSC. For decades, that means for year after year, we are demanding this, staking its claim as one of the world's largest economy, the most populous country. Okay, so what are the things which make India qualified for this? Okay, India is one of the largest economy. Okay, India is one of the largest population. Okay, there are additional right now. India is highly diverse country, democratic country. Okay. And India has contributed for the UN peacekeeping. Okay. So all these are some of the qualifications. Like India is a nuclear power also. Please write down what are the qualifications which make India a UNSC permanent membership. Okay. First one is India is a founding member of the UN. That also write down. India is a founding member of UN. India is a democratic country, one of the most populous country, one of the world's largest economy. Okay, then India is a nuclear power. Okay, all these are, and India is a responsible nuclear power country. That is also right. Responsible nuclear power country. Okay, with the track record of promoting rule-based international order. That means never ever we have undermined the United Nations rules. Okay, so we are the rule-based international order means there should be a law. Okay, and that law should be followed. Okay, are you guys getting notification when something is updated in our app?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Getting,
Yes, sir.
Either that Mughal is published now. Can you check it? Now I'm getting a message.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so rule-based international order, India is having a track record of promoting it, okay, contributing. For example, China is not believing in UN clause. China is not believing in UN clause. Okay, but India is having faith in UN clause. India is supporting UN orders, everything, contributing for peacekeeping. Just now I told you, contributing for peacekeeping through UN forces. The UN was born in the crisis of World War era, and realities that time can hardly compare to the present. That is very, very important word. Please copy down this. Please copy down this. This is an expected question. Every year I'm expecting this here. And sometimes they're asking, sometimes they're not asking, but it's an evergreen topic till India becomes a permanent membership. But don't be surprised that if India becomes a member of even we see in a permanent membership in the Modi era itself. Okay, I told you one of the most successful policy of the Modi is the foreign policy. Okay, so it is still possible that in this era we become, because during his era only we become the MTCR membership, we become Wassenaar Group, Australian Group. All this happened during his period. And write down this. UN was born out of World War crisis. World War, after Second World War, we had the entire world was in a restricted mode. We wanted peace across. Okay, so we created a body called UN. Okay, who coined the word UN? Louder, very good. Answer is correct only. Tell me.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. Okay, very good. He coined the word United Nations. Okay, so the World War crisis we had. Okay, and after that we had some superpowers were there. Based upon that, we created a UN, and we had a UN as a permanent membership. But it can be hardly compared to the present. That means the present day realities are different from what we had at that era. The UNSC permanent veto carrying members chosen by virtue of being winners of the World War. Okay, USA, UK, France, Russia, and later China. Okay, so they are the winners of the World War. Okay, so USA, UK, France, Russia, these are the members who were the part of the winners. Okay, later China was also chosen. Okay, now here some rumors or some informations are there that India was actually given the this one, but India has given to China. Okay, one decision, but nobody is able to confirm it. Can hardly claim adequate representation of the world's leadership today. UNSC does not include the permanent membership from Africa. These are the things we have to say, that UNSC presently does not represent Africa. No countries from Africa is there. Okay, no country from Australia, making it as a continent. Okay, and no country from the South America. So certain continent itself is not represented. Right on in UNSC. Certain continents, Africa, we don't have any representation. Okay, South America, we don't have a representation. Okay, Australian continent, we don't have any representation. Okay, so these are the certain problems. Even if India doesn't become member, okay, in that we need a reform in that, because certain continent, the entire continent, 50 countries are there in Africa. Okay, around another 13 countries are there in South America. These countries have to be represented now. And the pillars of multilateral order, such as G4 of G4, this is, I think I have told you once, G4 are the group of 4 countries which are supporting each other as a candidate of UNSC permanent membership. Okay, G4 is a group of 4 countries: Brazil, India, Germany, and Japan. Okay. Okay, that has been formed. Okay, that is also nobody is listening to them. Other more representative options exist. Okay, and there has been a quest for battle for change. Also, there is a deep polarization within the UN membership. So decisions are either not taken or not heeded. Okay, that means within the UN membership there is a polarization. There is a divide. Is there? Okay, frequent divisions within the UNSC P5 ended in blocking key decisions. Okay, so because of, for example, I told Russia itself supported India in the Jammu Kashmir. Okay, because of that it could be blocked. Okay, and if Jammu Kashmir is brought by China, then USA will help us in blocking it. So they are blocking each other's decision. Thereby, nothing is happening there also. Okay. So that right on UNSC membership is also polarized. A very important word. That means there's a lot of divisions among them. The issues are underlined the year where the coronavirus pandemic has brought the world into standstill. Yet the UN, UNSC, World Health Organization has failed to play an effective role. That's what I was saying now. Okay, definitely World Health Organization has failed. Okay, and UN also we can say failed because it is a global pandemic. What UN has done, nothing they have done. Okay. And of course, because of this UNSC. So write down this word in the coronavirus pandemic. This multilateralism, UN, UNSC, World Health Organization. Okay. In fact, UNSC they wanted to discuss this one coronavirus, but China blocked it. Don't discuss, karke. Okay. If you want to discuss, but don't bring the word called China. Okay. But that is also gone. So that is the era today we have is irrelevance of multilateralism. Okay. Irrelevance of multilateralism. Okay, for India, what has been most frustrating is that despite the dysfunctional power balance that prevails, the UN reform process held through the intergovernmental negotiation has not made progress over decades. Again, so I was telling you in some other kind of classes that in our generation it may not happen, but now I believe that it may happen because of one is because of Modi being the very aggressive foreign policy person. Then we have global pandemic, and third one is we have a multilateralism which has become failure. So it is possible that within our generation also the reforms may happen and India may become a member. No progress has happened these many years. The UN has chosen to roll over the discussion in the IGN, that is intergovernmental organizations, which are looking for 5 major issues. Enlarging the, this is very important, please copy down this. What are the 5 issues that is being discussed in the intergovernmental negotiation? First one is enlarging the Security Council. That is, we have got 5 plus 10. Am I right? Okay, there are 5 countries as a permanent countries. 10 countries, their membership is 2 years. They will come again. So one point we are looking for is enlarging the Security Council. Second one is categories of the membership. Categories of the membership. Third one is veto. Okay, veto. That 5 members in the SEL. Okay. Then we are talking also about regional representation. Okay. These are things which are being discussed, negotiated, but progress has not happened. Anything. Okay. And redistributing the Security Council General Assembly power balance. Okay. As if now what happens, the General Assembly doesn't have any power. Okay. The most powerful organization within the UN is UNSC. What is UNSC saying? That is binding on everybody. So there we are going trying to bring a kind of power balance between the General Assembly and the Security Council. Please write down the 5 issues which is being discussed in the intergovernmental negotiation. That is a negotiation which is looking after reform in the UNSC. 5 issues are there. One is enlarging Security Council. Second is categories of membership. Third one is question of veto. Fourth one is regional representation. I told you South America, nobody is represented. Africa, nobody is represented. Australian continent, nobody is represented. Okay. Then redistributing the power between the Security Council and the General Assembly power balance. In some comfort that the UN 75th anniversary declaration passed by all members this week pledges upgrade the United Nations. Okay. So this is a word very important. Okay. So when the resolution was passed, okay, declaration was passed, we are using the word upgrade the United Nations, with the commitment to instill new life in the discussion on the reform of the Security Council. Those words can only be realized if the UNSC permanent members recognize the deep peril of UN faces and support the reform. Okay. Now, any reform can be brought only when these 5 countries are supporting. That you have to always keep in mind. Okay. Otherwise, we have to create a separate organization. For example, for World Bank, we have created NDB. For IMF, we have created CRA. Likewise, we may create another organization with India becoming a leader also possible. Okay, but that will be very harsh. Okay, so that is the only way out if that is nothing is happening, because these 5 countries have got veto power with them. So any kind of reforms you are bringing, they can block it. That is also possible. So we need a consensus of all the 5 countries. Only then UN reform will happen. Okay. An act that will require looking beyond their own interest. Now, so these are the things we need to see. But why India wants to become a member of UNSC? I'm not saying why India is qualified, but if at all India becomes a member, a permanent member, what are things we are expecting to do? Next question. Anybody try? Okay, so first is you need to understand what is UNSC. Okay, how many members are there? 5 members are there as a government. Okay. Then reform has not become 75 years. It was based on the World War era. Okay, the present condition has changed. Okay, and why India is qualified to become a member. Okay, then we talk about IGN. Okay, intergovernmental institution. What are the 5 points they're talking about? Okay, then I told you even if any reform we need the support of 5 members. Then only we can change. Okay. Now, if at all India becomes even this one, okay, one is the pride is there, okay, it is a representation of people, all those, okay. But India believes that some of the national and international issues can be solved, including Jammu Kashmir. Okay, that is what India believes in. Okay, we can solve. Okay, and we will become more this one more recognized in the world. Okay, and India will have a foreign policy which is independent. Okay, for example, as if now, for example, we have to be support of Russia or USA because they have got a veto power. Okay, but when India becomes a veto power country, then we'll have a highly independent foreign policy. Okay. Understood, guys. Okay, so India believes that we can solve some of the issues, including Jammu Kashmir. Okay, then we'll be pride and the representation of the people, and also it will have a highly independent foreign policy. Yeah. Any doubts? No doubt.